So first I want to give a warning that if you are a little bit more sensitive, you probably might not want to watch this video because I'm going to be completely honest and some of my opinions are probably not going to be popular. Are the things What are the things that I wish that I knew that would have shaved time? It would have saved mistakes when I first started as an herbalist. So the first thing I want to mention is that memorization doesn't work. And I would say probably about 90 to 95% of herbalists actually kind of try to memorize herbs, or at least when they start, it's all about memorization. You pick up herb books, and I have plenty, and they'll have lists of certain herbs to use for certain things. Actually, the most common question that I get from people when I'm doing live streams or in my comment section is what herb for XYZ. And I really want people to understand that it really doesn't work like that. I don't want to jump ahead, but memorization really doesn't work. If you can think about when you were in school, when you were trying to memorize things for an exam or so, right after you crammed all that information, you forgot the majority of it. And that's what happens when you try to memorize. You'll forget so many different things that you learn. And it's because for a lot of people, you learn maybe hands on. And with herbalism, you really have to spend time with the plants. One of the biggest things that I see, and why I really don't recommend herb schools in particular, is because they really kind of train you just like in school to kind of think how to think and about the plants and how to think when it comes to formula and all of that. And so when you're given all of that, it really leaves no room for creativity. I really find that if you spend 10 years or so, if you spend a long amount of time with herbs, you should have like your own methods for how you practice with the herbs. And I find that a lot of, because herbalism has gotten a little bit of popularity, there's a lot of people who are just kind of memorizing and throwing different herbs and saying, oh, this is good for this or this is good for that. And that's not always, you have to really kind of know your plants and know your remedies in and out so you know when to use it, when to hold them and when to fold them. So please don't start trying to memorize herbs. You just simply aren't going to be able to keep up with the knowledge of, dozens and dozens of herbs. And so you really just want to focus on spending time with herbs, spending actual time making tinctures, teas, and all of that, and not even just taking the information that's been given, which is really useful, but you want to have your own new information, observations that you make about the plant, how it, smells and how it tastes and how it makes you feel and how it makes other people feel when you give it to them. So you really have to be very observant and you have to really humble yourself and, you know, not come in with all the knowledge from all the herbal teachers, but just see at the simplest level what the herb really is trying to articulate to you. Second thing that I wish I would have knew as a beginner is don't try to start with the most exotic herbs. A lot of people don't even start because they think that they need, all of these more expensive herbs and they have to go out and buy all these herbs. And that's really going to stop you or even stunt your growth if you don't even know how to use the herbs that are in front of you. Another thing that's very common is when people know that I'm an herbalist, they open up the cover and they say, oh, this is my favorite herb. And how do you use that? And I think it would be embarrassing if you didn't even know the uses of the very herbs that you use every single day. And so, or, how to put those together in different ways other than throwing them as garnish or just in dishes. And so I think there really needs to be more of a renaissance of finding out about these herbs and why they're so special that they are used, every single day. And, to even understand how they got their original use. Basil just helps with aiding in digestion and also is inflammatory. So it's commonly used with an acidic food such as tomatoes. Um, Most of our herbs are like that. They help to aid in digestion. And for the variety of ailments that we have, the kitchen herbs and spices are really useful. These are also the ones that you can find in any grocery store. And you can find them organic nowadays and in their whole form as well. When you focus on just exotic herbs, it really takes a lot of energy to not only ship them to you, um, but also into ordering online, and then also money and time. So while you could actually just be going out today and looking in your backyard and finding herbs, you're waiting for these herbs to come in. Not only that, but sometimes they're radiated, and so you may get an older product, and you may get something that's going to be less potent than what you can find in front of you. So don't limit yourself to thinking that you have to try out the ashwagandha and astragalus and all these other wonderful herbs that you hear about. You can try the herbs that are less popular, but just as useful. The next thing I wish that a lot more herbalists know is that this is something that is a lifelong calling. I get asked all the time, how do you know what herbs to put together? And this is not to knock anyone who's asked me that question. It is a really good question. But what I want to say is that if you are accustomed to just watching YouTube videos and thinking you're just going to become an herbalist and just know how to do formulas and all of that, it takes a lot more. I think because we live in this microwave society where we just think things just happen immediately, we want that instant gratification. And because we just have so much knowledge at our fingertips, I find that the average person knows a lot less than was known centuries ago. And so this more information or information everywhere isn't always great because you can get information that's not really useful. You can get information that's, is false. And then again, you're getting lots of people's opinions as well when you should be finding out what you think or your approach with herbs on your own. And so I don't want people to think that it's an overnight thing, that you just take a course and then it's done either. There's a lot of work. There's lots of one on one with the plants and lots of work on your own that you need to dedicate to actually becoming an herbalist, just as in any other field, you have to practice over and over and over to be great at something. And the same goes with herbalism. So don't just think that, if you just watch a live stream that I have every week, that you're just going to become an herbalist like that. It really doesn't work like that. And I really want people to, as with anything, invest in knowledge. I just feel like if you're not investing in your health, if you're not investing in knowledge or personal development, then what are you doing? Because other things just really pale in comparison to that. And so you need to invest in books. You need to invest in classes or courses. You need to invest in materials. You need to invest in a place to house all of this information, whether it's going to be a journal. People all the time send emails and just want quick answers, and you're never going to learn that way. You don't want to just give a fish, you want to learn how to catch a fish. And so you really need to think of it that way and think of it as investment for your family. All right, so those are the tips that I have for you today. What are the tips that you wish that you knew as a beginner herbalist? And let me know your thoughts, your comments, and your feedback about what I shared today. As always, I'll have links below to the videos that I think you should watch next, and also my herbs and herbal remedies playlist with so many dozens and dozens of videos to help you get started on your herbal journey. So if you made it to the end of the video, I want to say thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.